Today on Crazy Carl Projects,
I get back to the Subaru. Well, that one adjusted. I'm going back. Everything was set at 75 foot-pounds last time we stopped, and I'm going back and checking them. So far, I've only had one bolt move any. So.
Now, this is a what now?
2004 Subaru Impreza. And we've been doing all kinds of engine work on it.
This is the non-turboed engine, by the way.
Let's see. Now you messed me up. I had done that one already.
You're welcome. Sorry to mess you up. Because sarcasm is another free service you offer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm better at it.
No, you're not.
Of course you would say that.
Alright, everything's at 75, so do it to 85 for the center. 2. And there we go. Now, I have forgotten what torque specs for the cover is. I'll have to look that up again, but that's the next step is I'm going to start covering this and get that covered up and get the gasket in for this. So that I can get that back together somewhat. And, oh, and degrease this side. Almost forgot.
Yep.
I'm supposed to do this already.
And he's going to degrease this side.
And then eventually I get done there, I'm going to start removing stuff to take the cover off so I can redo the seal on this, because this side is not looking like they got it good and sealed.
Yeah.
Plus I've got new gaskets for the spark plug tubes, and I know they're leaking oil because when I pulled the spark plug to look at it, to cover in oil. So this side's biggest problem is just the outer seals, I think.
But we're going to verify torque
Oh yeah.
on this side. Make sure that everything's tightened down. We get no drippy, leaky. So when we get rid of this vehicle, the next person doesn't have drippy, leaky.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a good vehicle for the next person. Part of it's also because the oil fills right here. It has been, there's a lot of oil built up on that oil fill neck.
So when people have filled it with oil, it's been more watered than filled in some situations.
I wonder, I don't know if they gave me a gasket for the oil fill. It may actually need a new gasket. Well, there's always the wonderful thing of Insta-gasket if it really comes down to it.
Yeah. Well, for an oil fill tube, I don't think that's a problem. For a head gasket, I would say we do that on an engine we don't care about, just to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a let's try to break it situation. They haven't invented smell-a-tube yet, but
it smells like degreaser.
It does smell like degreaser.
And that's all the degrease. Which is funny, the degreaser was greasy. Leave it to me to have a degreaser, kind of degreaser that has grease all over the nozzle.
I don't know how you manage these things.
I'm talented.
Yeah. Now, what is that you're doing?
It's just top engine grease. I'm going to put another coat on it before I start covering everything up.
That's from Seafoam. We're not sponsored by them, but I'm just hitting everything up.
Mm-hmm. Well, everything's got a good coat of oil on it. Dry start. Then I'll wipe it off and get the gaskets ready.
What's so bad about dry start?
It's
See, sarcasm.
Yeah.
I'm better at sarcasm.
No, you're not. I forgot clean this up. Now I'm having fun cleaning the cover because it looks like someone used some Insta gasket with the old gasket to put a new one in, and now I'm having to clean that stuff out so I can get a good seal.
Let's take a look at this.
So
look at all that fun stuff. So it's taken a little longer than we wanted to clean this out.
I forgot about it. I meant to clean this up beforehand, and I forgot I hadn't.
What did you do?
Well, carburetor cleaner won't quit running. This jar is done, and it splattered on me. I had to clean it out of my eye before it got in my eye, and it sprayed out on the foam. And interesting thing, it happens to Styrofoam with carburetor cleaner. It eats it. How to get the last out of a dying spray can.
I don't even think I've seen Vice Grip Garage do that, dude. Do not puncture.
I'm not puncturing. I'm squeezing. That's it.
That's a do not try this at home. He said it works. I didn't believe him.
All right.
And I just want to see this happen. Look at that. It's cool. What is that?
It's just carb cleaner.
Just carb cleaner. Oh, that is cool. Okay, so since we're putting the finishing up on this valve cover here, he was sciencing the crap out of me about this carb cleaner stuff. Could you repeat what you told me?
Well, it's a petroleum solvent, and you can use it to, if you do sculpting with foam, and you need a kind of a natural effect, like a stone one, you can use solvents like carb cleaner to eat the outer layer of the foam and change the texture of it.
Now, this is where I'm going to say that it is, of course, a corrosive chemical. So if you're going to do something like that...
And also, you need to have good ventilation and probably wear a respirator because it does put off toxic fumes. Fun things you learn working in a haunted house.
That's our ventilation there.
Air conditioning.
Yes.
All right. And this is finally ready to go on with new gaskets.
There we go.
So
shed some light in the situation. And I've seen a video that's claiming that, oh yeah, see HR there. Mm-hmm. 69 HR.
Yep, and it's also got the valve cover, timing belt cover attachment, so you know it's the passenger side.
There you go.
Slide it under. Get it lined up. All the way back. That big hole goes into this big bolt.
Is it?
That's probably pretty close.
And the big tab on that
bolt. I got to get the bolts.
The big tab on that.
We need a bolster.
Went that way.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Long bolt went one side. Short bolt went the other.
We should probably look back at the video, the future video of that.
I did, but this is the only bolt. The other bolt was left in there, but it came out. And then we get the bolt for the other side.
Is it going in, or I think that's hitting the gasket?
Yeah, it's hitting the gasket right now.
I was trying to get you to put it in. Lift the thing up.
Y'all are getting this in real time. I'm not fast forwarding past this part.
Yeah, just lining it up.
Lining gaskets up and bolts up and
I
stuff.
don't see anything. I can't.
We got a crazy kid out here assisting.
Yeah, it's gone too far that way. Let's see. Hole there too. This one, that one. I know I put in here. And the short one. This one's the long bolt, and this one's the short bolt.
I can't get it to even start threading in. So I can't get that gasket in the correct orientation. I don't even know if that's the right size bolt to go in there. Because it's just not. How about you take the gasket out and then we try to figure out which bolt goes where?
We can do that.
So we can verify that it's not just getting caught on the gasket.
I had everything once upon a time in an order, but I also had a bolt sitting back there, and I think I put it back in the wrong spot. There we go. Pull that out again. Because I know those were having fun lining stuff up. Got the back one in. I'm doing. Let me set the bolt.
Just this?
Doing the old trick with a paper towel to keep the bolt from falling out.
That's not going into anything.
No, let's see what's in the center again. Let me see that light. They are. Why? How are they still off angle?
This is just one of those situations where you just work it any way you can, and you'll eventually get it back in. Don't force anything. Of course, forcing things is wrong.
Labeled diagrams when we're disassembling things. That this is the intake manifold.
Can you hold
bolt
this?
pattern.
Someone hold that light so I can see this hole while I'm trying to do the bolt in this hole, because this thing is. I gotta find some leverage on it.
Let's see, where you're putting your hand and you're pushing, and it's like, if it goes in that way, we got a problem with how we put that valve cover on.
No, this has gotten the plastic stretched. Basically, what's happened is plastic's got bent out a little bit, so now everything's out of angle a little bit.
It's all right.
Except this hole seems to be smaller than everything else.
It just looked like
I've got a brass screw that was over here somewhere. Where did the more brass one go?
y'all see what's going on. I'll bring you back when we get this completed.
This one is
Okay.
All right, got that on. They were the 4 long bolts. They were like these, but longer. It was just a matter of, for some reason, only one would work on this outer side. It was a more brassy looking one. And then a matter of maneuvering it and finagling it so the holes lined up, because apparently with no head underneath it, this plastic intake warped a little bit sitting there. But it's been a few months, so.
Yeah. If you're doing something like this, it's a good idea. Just take a piece of cardboard and poke the screws through that, write what they're for. That
I
sort of
did
thing.
have them in the right spot, and I left one in there so when I pulled it out, I know which 4 bolts I needed. I just didn't realize that they were going to be picky in which order they went in. But yeah, I've got a ground to reconnect here. And I got the valve cover to do and all these brackets to put back on. But I want to go ahead and get the valve cover on. That was the next step. And we'll see here what we're doing next. I'll bring it over here since there's light over here.
Thank you.
So, open it up. You got all your gaskets.
Goodies!
And these are for the bolts. You have gaskets that go in these 4 bolt holes, so they're still them. So you get a new set of those. You get new boots for the spark plugs, so that they'll seal with that. So these just go on the tubes. Spark plug tubes like that. And like that. That way you don't get a oily spark hole.
Having an oily spark hole might be a bad thing.
And then
Ask your doctor if you have an oily spark hole.
I think these are identical.
I think we're not talking about the same thing anymore.
No, I'm moving on. I think these two are identical, so we'll find out in a moment if they don't fit. And you can put Insta-gasket in it. I just don't like doing that unless I absolutely have to. Because, yes, it'll help seal this down, but it also makes it an absolute nightmare if you ever have to do this again. Because that took me a long time to clean all the Insta-gasket that was in this out. That was the last hour out here.
And if you like every other normal person, you don't actually have an instant parts washer, so meet the parts washer.
Yeah. And then
moving this.
Yeah. Then put that back. And I need those bolt holes. Let me show you. Do this. Put that back down.
Since we got it this way, can you go over your tightening procedure for this real quick?
Okay, this one is like everything Subaru. You start in the center. Then it's just upper corner, lower corner, upper corner, repeat. And it's 5 foot-pounds, which will be 60 inch-pounds. The two long one of those style bolts are going to be your top bolts. Those are your lower bolts.
So these are lower.
These are these three.
These are which three? These three.
Mm-hmm.
And these two are these
Going to
two
be at the
here.
top. At least I believe that's the case. We'll find out in a moment. But you can see how they sit off different. These are out more than those three.
Yep.
Put that in. These are not tight and holding tight enough to sit in there without the bolts. So I'm doing it a few at a time. Do the top ones, then I'll put them in.
We might actually get to see how a box of 4-engine runs when one bank is running at probably a higher compression ratio than the other.
Yeah. One has good, just on the exhaust. Hey, at least it was the one that had no compression. Now it has compression.
Yeah. Like I said, we will go through this side and verify torque
my
settings.
10 millimeter. I believe this was 10 millimeter.
We can successfully say
Oh, it's still sitting on the ground.
we definitely need to remove the Facebook marketplace ad.
I put a new one, yeah.
That
I'm not tightening it down
we
yet.
discovered that it didn't have a blown head gasket. Never has had blown head gasket.
There, I just tighten those slightly so it'll stay in place and not move around on me. That's not compressed yet. And I'm getting the rest of these on. And these I'll just hand tighten, and then I'll go around and tighten everything. Hey, I'm not having to lift the engine. I may have to lift the engine again on that side. I'm not looking forward to that side. I keep going back and forth what I'm doing that side. I have to take a lot of stuff out to do that side.
Yeah, we gotta pull this off and remove that, and yeah. In all seriousness, it'll be worth it. Yeah. So, are you using foot-pounds or inch-pounds? How are you tightening this?
I'm probably going to use inch pounds. I'm going to use a smaller. I've got a smaller. I don't recommend doing this, but it does get the stuff off the hands.
You're really not supposed to do it that way.
Don't do that. Do as I say, not as I do.
If you're one of the smart people that can use gloves without breaking them every single time you put them on.
Well, you know, it's one of those things. I put 3 layers on. They'll last for a little while, but I've also failed to cover my watch today.
Yep.
I'm putting it back under my shirt sleeve, but it keeps coming back out. So that's why I was giving inch pounds, because this is one's in inch pounds.
Yeah. Which, you saw these bolts. They're not very strong bolts
you
for
can
something like
easily
this.
break these bolts, so you do not want to overdo it.
Do not off-strength these.
There's 60.
Yes. Do not off-strength these.
For your metric people, it looks like it's going to be 50, about maybe 50, probably about 50 kilograms, centimeters. I don't know if that'll show up. That's where the setting is for that with this one on inches, which it doesn't line up exactly right, but that makes sense. Oh yeah, this uses the little bitty teeny tiny ones. I need that 10 millimeter. Yeah, not to torquing yet. I'm just doing the start tightening with the regular socket because that thing's aggravating. And there's quite a bit to...
Still tightening down, still using the procedure. Now he's on to the torque wrench.
That one's already there, so...
We haven't quite...
I'm not setting torque yet. Now I'm just getting it where it starts catching, and I'm going to go around and do them. Just trying to get it set. And it's like everything else with the rubber gasket, you got to let it sit for a little bit.
Yeah. Gently maneuvering and slowly massaging everything in. You just can't shove it down and expect it to be properly sealed. If that was the case, we would have just took a ratchet and oath strengthened everything and been done.
Alright, now I've done all of them. These were 18, is what we found on them. Now for this one back here, I've had to do other things with because it's in such a position where nothing will grip it. So it's 18 is going to do with this little thing. It's the only thing I've got that gets in there and actually grabs the bolt still. Because it's not
more extensions.
Not that the bolt's damaged, it's that there's when you get down there, the way everything connects into it, you can't get anything but a thin wall socket on it. So I think that's 18. That's 18-ish anyways. Don't even know if 18 is the right one. Everyone had something different for this top part. And
no, that's scientifically 18. So yeah, it's the assembly of this vehicle has been with the utmost care. Please buy it.
that most things said it doesn't matter, just tight. Unless you had a turbo and then it gave specs that would break the plastic.
I would assume turbo has a better built-in air intake. Of course, I've been wrong about assumptions like that before,
But 18 was the reasonable one.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen 18 somewhere before. And I don't know why I'm even trying this one again. Because no sockets will go on that except for that little thin wall thing.
Yep.
So, I'll do it again. And then these were 5 foot-pounds, 60 inch-pounds.
Yep, 5 foot-pounds, 60 inch-pounds. And of course, it's been resting a bit, so now we're testing it again.
Yep, this is final tight, which is going to be, I can't do one-handed.
Gosh, I wish the shifter in the Yaris was as good as the...
Oh, the transmission in this thing is great. Nothing else is.
After we got the bushings fixed on the linkage, it's so good. It's so
this engine will probably be good now.
I mean, it will be good. Please buy it.
This engine's going to be great now, honestly.
The only problem it had was cylinder 3. We had was having compression problems.
It is ready for turbo.
It's all done.
Please buy it.
Yeah.
Ready for turbo. You get to do this again if you do a turbo, though.
Yeah, if you do a turbo, you're on your own.
Yeah, you're going to have to upgrade stuff. I did not put turbo grade stuff on it. So, that's all it. So, it's just a matter of... matter of putting the water pump and all that stuff on, and I'm still debating that side. I need to replace the gaskets, but I don't know if I want to pull everything off because it's not the head gasket's problem. It's the valve cover gasket, and in particular the little gaskets for the spark plugs that are leaking. So, yeah, it'll probably get done, but this side will get done first.
Of course.
And that's going to be it for this time. Remember, like, share, subscribe,
Make it run today.
I can't make it run today.
There's a little problem.
I got to dismantle the whole other side first.
Why?
Gaskets.
Do a valve cover gasket.
We did that. We already did that, remember?
And I got to put the water pump on and do all that stuff.
Well,
So.
then do it. It's nice and cool today.
It's going to be even cooler tomorrow.
Yep. So please like, share, subscribe, share with people if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, share with somebody you don't like. After all, why should you suffer alone?
Don't suffer alone. Until next time, have a good one.